Hello Earthlings! I'm Imani and welcome to Monty Melon, where we talk about travel, fashion, and living your best life. Today's video is about 10 tips for studying abroad. Maybe you are leaving in the fall or you're leaving next spring to go study abroad. Whenever you're leaving, here are some tips to keep in mind before you leave on your crazy adventure. We're kind of in a different location today. I felt like mixing it up. I got my handy dandy laptop here, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. Trying to keep this video as short as possible. Let's just get to it. So, first thing to keep in mind, budget. Now that's not fun, you know. Nobody wants to have a budget when they're studying abroad. However, you're going to want to factor in program fees, visa fees, rent, food, travel costs, excursion costs, home supplies, transport, school books, because you're probably going to be studying while you're studying abroad, hopefully, right? School supplies, and of course, entertainment. What are you gonna do while you're there? And that is a lot, and it adds up. So, what I suggest you do is put all these costs together, add them up, then double that. And that's probably what you need. That's probably gonna sound like a lot. However, it's better to overestimate than underestimate, and then halfway through your study abroad, you're broke. You can't do anything. So just plan ahead. There may be emergency costs. You make friends and they want to go on a trip and you're like, shoot, I want to go too, but then you don't have money for it. Save up as much as you can, basically. I personally had to take out a loan for it, but it was totally worth it. No regrets. Once you have your budget, do not deviate from that. Don't overspend, okay? Have like a weekly amount that you're spending and do not exceed that. My next tip is, before you leave, pack light. This is always my tip. No matter what travel video I'm making, this is going to be my tip. You do not need as much as you think you're going to need. Most of the things that you have can be found abroad. All it takes is a little quick Google search if you think that a country might not have something to let you know if they have that or not. For instance, you don't have to pack like 6 months or a year's worth of tampons or shampoo or razors, because they're probably gonna have those in the country you're going to. Also, you will buy things while you're abroad, okay? You might think that you're gonna be like super frugal, and then you get to the country you're going to and you're like, wow, look at all this cool stuff that I want to take home with me. But if you came with a full suitcase, you can't do that unless you buy an entirely new suitcase and then fill that up and then take that home. That's an option. I know some girls that did that. But I suggest is you take one big suitcase and then like a backpack and then fill up that big suitcase halfway, even less than that if you can manage. And then you have all the space in case you want to bring stuff home. So do not bring a bunch of crap with you. I had to just leave a lot of stuff behind because I could not take it all home with me, especially because after my study abroad program, I went traveling, and so I really couldn't bring stuff with me. Thank goodness my mom had come out to see me and like travel with me before I went traveling by myself, because she took a lot of stuff home for me. Bless her heart. For things lugging around 2 suitcases. Had to be very strategic of like what I kept and what I left behind, which is like, just learn from my mistakes. Don't bring a bunch of stuff to begin with. Tip number 3, once you get to your destination, wherever you're studying, make yourself at home, okay? You know, you're gonna be there for, depending on your program, if you're just gonna be there for a summer, maybe not so much, but if you're gonna be there for 6 months to a year, you know, really make it your home by just doing little things like, for instance, I bought my own coffee mug. It had like a little Spanish phrase on it, and it was like the coffee mug that I used every morning. My apartment was fully furnished and everything. I got an extra blanket to just put over my comforter, like a fuzzy blanket, you know? It was just one of those things that made me feel more at home. You know, getting a candle, anything that's just gonna make your surroundings feel a little bit more cozy, and it will help with the culture shock and the adjustment, along with bringing things from home. Bring like maybe a few snacks or like favorite things from your home and like save those for like those moments where you're really craving it. I wish I would have brought a jar of like red chili and green chili from New Mexico, because I missed that so much while I was in bland ass Spain. Okay, there was no spice. Definitely bring snacks or like things that remind you of home. Also pictures, put up pictures of your friends and family. Tip number 4, if you are going to a country that speaks a different language than your native language, which hopefully you are, because I feel like that is such a huge part of studying abroad, is like experiencing a new language, practice the language every day. Like, actually try to learn the language. Don't make my mistakes. Okay, my mistake was I lived in an apartment. I was constantly surrounded by Americans, and I spoke English for like the majority of the time that I was in Spain. Big mistake. I did learn a lot, but I know for a fact I would have learned so much more if I was more immersed in the language. I wanted to stay with a host family, but I couldn't because I'm vegan and they wouldn't accommodate to that. So it was just easier for me to live in an apartment. But if you can, definitely live with a host family because you will learn so much more of the language. That, or get friends that don't really speak English because then you're forced to communicate. Definitely practice the language by having conversations. Go to language exchanges. I only went to one and I had so much fun. I really wish I would have went to more. But you definitely get to meet new people. In Spain anyway, in my experience, people were just like so excited to practice their English. Also, when you are learning a language, have like a little notes thing in your phone or like in a notebook and write down new words that you just stumble upon, and then either Google them later, translate them, ask about them in class. And if you don't know what something means, like definitely ask, you know, you're there to learn. 5, be respectful. There are going to be some frustrating moments when you are in a new country. There's cultural differences, there's a language barrier, okay? You're gonna get frustrated, but please don't lose your cool, you know, don't get cross with anyone, don't be rude to people. Just remember that you are representing wherever you come from. When I studied abroad, Trump had just won the election. People had a lot of weird feelings about Americans and I'm sure they still do abroad, have a weird view of Americans in America at the moment. So just, you know, be a good representation of where you come from. I was really kind. I made sure everybody knew that I was accepting of all people. Things like that. Also, adapt yourself to cultural norms. For instance, one of the things I noticed about Spain is when you're riding public transport and an elderly person gets on the bus, you always give up your seat for that elderly person. Notice those, adapt to them, be respectful of them. I would just never sit down unless the bus was empty because I didn't want to, I'm too awkward to like be like, "Perdón, señora." Blend in as far as clothing, wear what the locals wear, kind of. Don't completely erase who you are and like your style or anything, but just like try to blend in as much as you can. 6, be flexible. It may be tempting to book a round-trip flight. Don't do it. I'm gonna tell you why. You don't know what kind of crazy, amazing opportunities are gonna come your way, and you might want to stay longer than you initially intended. Or you might get to this country and absolutely hate it and want to come back right away. I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully it's the first one and you're just like really pumped to stay because you met amazing people, maybe you got a job opportunity, something like that. If you already have a return flight booked, then you can't follow through with that, or you'll just waste a bunch of money and then you'll have to book another flight. Also, don't book any trips prior to leaving to the country you're going to. For instance, I studied abroad in Europe. I did a lot of travel around Europe, but I didn't book any trips until I got there because I knew that I would probably want to travel with like the people that I met. And yeah, I didn't want to like somebody invite me to go somewhere, like we all went to Barcelona and then I couldn't go because I had something else booked. You know, it's just things like that. Just keep yourself flexible. You know, you want to be able to jump on any like cool adventures that come your way. 7, your phone plan. Think about what you want to do regarding your cell phone in a foreign country, because you can't just like go and think you're gonna use your data and it just be fine and dandy. No, you're gonna get charged fees up the ass. So either get a SIM card, have some sort of international plan with your carrier, or like me, just be a Wi-Fi queen. So I would just I shut off my service completely and I only used my phone with Wi-Fi. And then when I went traveling, I had this plan with Verizon. It's like an international plan where you pay $10 a day to use data, and then like you can just like not use your phone, and then maybe one day you really need to use your data and then you turn it on for that day and then you just pay $10 for that day. I'm sure there are much better deals than that. I suggest either getting a SIM card or being a Wi-Fi queen. 8, currency. Before you go, you want to have an idea of what the exchange rate is, sort of, kind of. For instance, US dollars to euros. And you're going to want to take some currency with you beforehand so you have money to like, you know, when you first get off the plane to like pay for a taxi or get something to eat. especially because a lot of countries still prefer cash to card. Make sure you know what's up regarding your funds, and try not to take out money from ATMs all the time because those fees, they add up, girl. If you're constantly taking money out of an ATM, those international fees are going to kick your ass. I'm not saying like constantly carry around large sums of money, but maybe once a month get out some cash from the ATM. That way you're not constantly taking out cash. That's what I did anyway, and then I would just hide my money in my room. Tip number 9, take every opportunity that comes your way. Unless it's sketchy, don't get kidnapped. The whole point of studying abroad is to learn new things, try new things, have an adventure. You want to be able to tell your kids and your grandkids about this, okay? Or your dog, whatever. Try the local cuisine. Go travel around the area. Go to nearby locations. Immerse yourself in the culture. Go to cultural events. Visit museums. Learn about history. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. People are really curious about foreigners. You're probably not going to have a bad time putting yourself out there. Like I said, the whole point of studying abroad is to learn things and to become a better human. So do that. And my last tip is document it in some way, shape, or form. Vlog it. Take lots of pictures, Polaroids, keep a journal, do something to document your experience. At least take a lot of pictures and keep a journal, because you want the pictures, but you also want to know how you were feeling and what you were thinking during your travels. I am so glad that I vlogged the majority of my study abroad experience, because whenever I get like nostalgic or I just miss Valencia or Europe in general, I can just go back to all those videos and cry a little bit. It's just really cool to look back on. So don't forget to document it. Okay, that is it for my 10 top tips for studying abroad. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you found this valuable or entertaining in any sort of way, shape, or form, please give it a like. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because I make videos every week. Come join me on my adventures. I do tip videos like this, travel vlogs, fashion stuff. Go ahead and comment below and let me know where you plan to study abroad, or where you dream of studying abroad and or traveling to. I want to know. I have a study abroad playlist that I will put here if you want to check that out. Follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.